Hey, good morning, all. I am in Denver, Colorado, about to head to the Colorado Convention Center and check off a bucket list, and that is to go to the CEDIA show. CEDIA, I don't know what it stands for, but it's the home automation, which I don't really like the home automation part, distributed audio, more sophisticated like integrators, like the professional installer trade show for consumer electronics, and so I'm excited to go check it out and bring the camera along, see what kind of products I get into. Sometimes I just feel led to go somewhere and put hands on products. I went to Waterstone yesterday. Great culture at that company. And my role at Obsessed Garage has continued to evolve as we have more people, and I'm the guy that sort of cast the vision. With the Destination OG concept, which I've been talking to you about for a few years now, with the Helen House, and then hopefully future properties, and then doing the Adam LZ project, I'm kind of dabbling into this concept that, to me, the house is attached to the garage. The garage is the anchor, and the house gets attached to it, but I still need a faucet and lights, and I like speakers and distribute audio systems and stuff like that. And so I don't know. I'm going to see what happens. I'm looking for inspiration, and so I felt the need to get on a plane. I went to Waterstone yesterday outside San Diego, Murrieta, California. Hopped the flight over here to Denver. Just went to CrossFit. Got a cramp in my hamstring, so I was going to walk there, but there's some freaking fentanyl walkers around here, so I think I'm not going to take my luck here, test my luck, and so I'm going to Uber over to the convention center, especially since I can barely walk. So let's go see what we can get into. All right, made it. I'm growing up in my old age. I'm 40 minutes late. I got some breakfast at Elway's at the Ritz. I'm going to cruise in and check this thing out. All right, I'm registered, so I got to just pick up my badge here. So I got a badge from Dyne Audio and Mike Sajecki and from PSB, and then you just go here and print your badge out. All right, we're in. All right, I'm gonna go start in the right-hand corner and work my way through. This is freaking way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. This is sick. So since this is my first time at the trade show, I think just sort of walk around. I don't really spend a lot of time in booths yet, just kind of look and observe. I'm going to be here for 3 days, so I'll probably walk this thing 10 times. But try to stay organized and walking up and down so I don't miss anything. At the DMF booth, I'll spend some time in here. I'm trying to talk him into making 5K fixtures. I mean, that's what we really need. We'll be doing square fixtures in LZ's project. Come back and certainly spend some time in the Sumiko booth. So Sumiko is the importer for like Project, Macintosh, Sonos Faber, Rotel, all that stuff. Don't do it, people. Sonos is junk, and look how many people are there. They love it because it's high margin, cheap products. It's for dummies. It's like, I'm telling you, like all you guys that are selling this crap, Blue OS is so much better. And then those of you who are inside the Hexaw, Sonance, we'll dig into Sonance in a little bit. I'll probably have Mike Sajecki take us through all the Sonance stuff. Sonance and James. James is really interesting because the James stuff is all custom made, not just custom install. 778. I haven't spent a lot of time with the Dolly stuff. I only got a couple of sets of the wireless ones and I really didn't like it. But Dolly makes some pretty insane stuff. I hadn't heard any of these, the higher end PSB stuff. Oh, there's the new M68. I'll get him to talk about the M68 when I come back, or what I should say, M66. It's basically a preamp version of the M33. So the M33 has the amplifier. I think the M66 is just their new version of a streaming preamp. And then you could pair it with like M23s or whatever amplifier you want. The Focal stuff is just not for me, man. I need to put it in the GD3. Certainly are big. Always my favorite. It's the best. I love of Love of Dyne Audio. So I think we're going to do a setup of S4 LCR in LZ's house. So that's the plan. And then I'll probably do S4W80s in the back if I have the room for it. And then we'll do like a floor standing, like a sub 6. I'm going to talk him into hooking us up. Some time with Ken in the SVS booth later. I'll come back and talk to him about some of the stuff. There's obviously the PB16. The problem with the PB16 with me was trying to ship it. They ship it for free. Imagine trying to ship this monster box out. Not so simple. If their interconnects are nice. Oh, there's the in-wall sub. That's what I was sort of interested in seeing. So this is something that'd be interesting for the wash bay. Like when you're, like if you had an open wash bay, you could put this track in, or like screen systems as well. So to do this kind of framing, and you could screen in. So this is what I was planning to do in the wash bay before we got denied on being able to do the frickin' with the wind loads and all that stuff. So, but these screen systems are really what can work. So it's MagnaTrack is the company. But that's pretty sweet. So you can put this really nice looking aluminum track, and then you'd motorize down to keep the bugs out. So this solution from Rosewater, this is the inside guts of it. But the concept here, I actually talked to them a while back when we were going to build my house about putting one of these in. But I think they're nickel metal hydride batteries. It's not a battery backup, it's a voltage stabilization system. And so what you would do is you take this thing over here. So you'd put one of these in, and then you would voltage stabilize your entire house. Really, really interesting idea. They're about $100,000, $60,000 to $100,000 for this thing. But the concept is that you maintain a stable 120 or 240 volts. I think that to get 240, you would need a separate unit. So you have to maintain stable voltage, which would just make everything in your house function much more reliably. Now, for $100,000, I don't know how much it's going to save you long term on your refrigerator lasting an extra year, but it is an interesting concept. Like you'd put it in your server room. It could be a really interesting system. I'd really like to get into and figure out, especially when we build, let's say if I build the garage at my house, or if we do build a house, doing like really sophisticated HVAC control, using like a VRF or VRV, a variable refrigerant type system, and then having some really sophisticated control in order to manage it. I'm not 100% sure how something like this works, but maybe I'll talk to them and start to learn about using ductless and ducted ductless systems on how this stuff works. So these are the automation solutions. So I wonder if it requires home automation in order to do this.
That module, one facing up, one facing out. That quality line, IRCR.
This is what I need in my life.
Meters.
Yeah, just the amps, My problem is my Dyne Audio speakers are not bi-wireable, so I can't do the hybrid amps that I really want. Yeah, I really want the hybrid amps. Let's just take a peek around here in this Sumiko booth. We have all in-wall, Sonus Faber. So I never really spent a lot of time. I did sell Rotel for a little bit when I was at Worldwide Stereo. Really nice stuff. But I have my heart set on Macintosh at some point. I do love the NAD stuff, but on the traditional analog side, and I know you can do better than Mac, but I like Macintosh. So Sumiko also does the project turntables, and then Mac has their own speakers, which I don't think are great, and then of course you have all the Sonus Faber stuff. So I've done quite a few Surgex products over the years. I think I have one. I have one in what's now Chris's office. But this is not pretty, but rather functional, power strip stuff. You're good. So super functional surge protection, which I dig. I dig the functionality. And so I forget which box I have. I think I have that one underneath my desk. But this stuff is good. Forgive me, but I'm still a sucker for really nice cables. AudioQuest, Kimber, old monster cable back in the day, even though a lot of it is nonsense. Some of it I think is, especially in certain speaker wire, there can be, I think, some performance differences, but, when you pay, $1,300 a pair for speaker wire, I'm inclined to do that, but probably not the smartest move. So the Golden Ear brand, this same guy who made Definitive Technologies, DefTech, I believe he sold DefTech and then started Golden Ear. Interesting speakers. They're very everybody can like a Golden Ear speaker. It's kind of Bose-ish to me, but the Tritons are nice speakers. I don't think anybody could dislike them, but I do think there's better sounding stuff. But I forget what the guy's name is who's the Golden Ear guy. But in general, they're a pretty, most people, when you hear a Golden Ear speaker, you like how it sounds. I don't know if these guys are new or what the story is, but I've never heard of Procella. Some interesting drivers. The Trinoff stuff for home theater is becoming, I think, pretty quickly the high-end standard. I just don't know it very well. I don't know much about it and haven't spent any time with it, but lots of people have been doing Trinoff stuff at home theater. So we need a alternative to big-ass fans. The new ones aren't great. I like that fan right there. So I wonder if these guys could be it. Because the ones at Home Depot, the Hunter Douglas and all that stuff is freaking junk. So it looks like they make all different types of fans. I didn't know that Leica did anything video-wise. Looks okay. No, never mind. Here's the Totem booth. I actually sold Totem speakers. I kind of like them. I sold them because they're Softem tweeter. I sold them at Worldwide Stereo for the 4 months that I was there, 3 months that I was there. Using audio control. You get soft dome, tons of output, and tiny, tiny little speakers. So part of what my intention is, this is the back end for the custom install amplifiers, is to really show people how this stuff works. It is so much better. I've never actually seen an array, so that's basically power nodes in an array with a network version. But the beauty of this stuff is that any idiot can install this, and you don't have to frickin' jerk around with programming, which is amazing. It's the best part of the whole thing. So I'm gonna really double down on this, teach you guys how to do this stuff, because it's really quite incredible, and it's runs super cool because it's all Class D amplification. Most of it is, the 8-150 is freaking amazing. And then to pair that with the Blue OS through, this player here is basically 4 Blue Sound nodes in one box. And you can add nodes if necessary if you wanted to add more, more zones, or the CI720s are nodes as well. And so think about it you can have up to 64 zones on a single system on your phone, and run it and program it all yourself in minutes. That's what's so great about it. So I didn't realize this. This is the new Imagine line, and the old Imagine version of PSBs were a different tweeter. So I was just talking to Joe, who's head of product development, and how he's changed the design, how him and Paul changed the design of the tweeter. So I'm going to get a pair of these to try out. You can see $700 might be a solid upgrade over a P5 if you're looking for something a little bit better, but you don't want to go to Dyne Audio in full. And then the other thing, between you and me, there may or may not be a version of this coming out with Blue OS and amplification because the Alpha IQs don't really work in a garage, the ones that they made with Blue OS functionality. So that's something we're working on. And then also, I was talking to him about making a racing sim setup with some modified versions of PWM1s and PWM2s. So this is the same Imagine driver, same Imagine tweeter, and then possibly building a subwoofer that goes underneath the seat for racing sim. So I'm going to get Podium One and Joe and PSB together to make an economical but amazing sounding racing sim system. So I knew I'd come up with something cool for coming out to this show. So there's going to be some pretty freaking cool stuff we can come up with. And there's the PWM3. I never got these because they weren't out yet to test out. So maybe I'll have to test these out. Maybe I'll talk Adam into doing these instead. So these are the Alpha IQs I was talking about, which are nice. They're just too small for the garage for me. I wanted to have a bigger amplifier and be bigger. They're a really nice, $1,300, standalone, Blue OS enabled pair of powered bookshelf speakers. So if you didn't watch the video on Inside the Hex, I really, really like these James speakers. They really sounded pretty incredible. They're for in-wall application, and then they vent out a tiny little hole. Crazy expensive, but really interesting speaker. So this is my future display right here, 97 G2 or G3. So 97-inch OLED. I think it's like 20 grand right now, but I'm ready. I'm ready for one. So here's the Z series. So this is the Z 77Z2 8K version, which I don't see much of a point. There's not really much, or there is almost no 8K content. So you have B3, C3, and then obviously the flagship is G3. So, wow, I think this is hands down the best display on the planet. A set OLED, 77 OLED. You wouldn't put this in the garage, but in your home theater. It's great. And then having the option, hopefully at some point, we'll get a 97, but we'll get a 97 in a, for 10 grand or less. Yeah, this is the short throw laser projector that you would, build into a stand. It's just not good enough. It's just not great. And so the difference between OLED and LCD is incredible. It's so much better to do OLED. Dude, that's pretty sick. 42 OLED computer monitor. Want that. Imagine having two of these. I wonder how much this thing is. 42 LXQ PUA. That's freaking cool, man. A big old box in the back here, but that could be pretty sick. So this is the new Evo M. It doesn't look as good, but you can do 4K 120 hertz wireless. I guess you have to buy this box, or that box goes somewhere, and then you don't have to run any HDMI cables. I guess that's where we're headed. These Arcam receivers do look really clean. It's part of the Harman. So Harman is JBL, Revel. You guys have been around a long time. You remember my Revel home theater at the Revel stuff. I had a Revel Performa before they went beryllium. Or maybe I just didn't have the beryllium version. They also do Mark Levinson, I think. And the JBL Synthesis. They have a JBL Synthesis home theater in here. And then I think all the Revel stuff is over here. But I had Performa 3 home theater set up. There's the synthesis system. This is the MBI booth. There's not a ton of super high-end stuff that's here, but this stuff is freaking cool. Really great 2-channel. They make both drivers and preamp and amps, integrated amps. Way cool.
Radius Fowler, meaning omnidirectional.
Yep.
This is carbon. This is carbon fiber. It's a standard voice coil, regular firing magnet. The pedals are compressed and contained at the top, so when voice coil fires up, as in a normal driver situation, each one of these pedals compresses and expands at precisely the same time. Same thing here. And
So
the same thing for
higher-
the melon as well.
So this will be crossed over at a mid-range frequency and
Exactly, yeah. You're looking, well, I can use this as an example. This is about 100 to below. This is 100 to 600, 600 to 2500, 2500 and up.
Cool.
And every speaker in the line, from the least expensive to the most expensive, is using the same driver. So you can go effortlessly from speaker to speaker from 600 hertz up. It is identically sound.
And then what about efficiency? I mean, need lots of power.
Yes, 81 dB.
More power. Oh, 81 dB sensitive. Oh, so more power the better.
Yeah,
That gives you an
this is-
excuse to buy a nice amplifier,
It
right?
is. Well, this is about the equivalent of a 22-inch cone. So I've been told. I didn't measure it. I don't know how to even calculate it, but that's what I've been told. So you're moving a lot of air. It takes a lot of energy, so you got to give up something. Okay, so it's not the most efficient speaker in the world, but we really like it.
Really is
If you
cool.
like to hear them, they're inside.
Ooh, yeah.
Play it.
Let's do it. I'm really liking these. Like, super smooth.
It's hard when it's not something you're familiar with. Yeah. That's, it still sounds. Okay.
So those speakers in there, 91 grand. Another 40,000 bucks because you need an amplifier for each channel. The $18,000 CD player, 17,000. They're really, it's a really incredible sound. Really appealing to my ears. I'm gonna have to do some more digging into these. I've never heard these in person, but that design, I forget what he called it, is really appealing to my ears. This is another interesting, sort of up-and-coming company, Storm Audio. It makes some super powerful amplifiers. I don't know much about them. Somebody was talking about this in the Facebook group the other day. Some of the Storm stuff. Let's take a look at the back.
So yeah, we have the integrated.
It's 8-channel amp. That's smart to do 8 channels, especially with Atmos now. Everything's 7 channels, but 8 channel is better for Atmos systems. So I want to get a pair of these Synergy 200. So they have the normal inverted C-cam drivers. These are home theater speakers, but I think these could be really cool in a garage, man. Like this here, mounted somehow and integrated into our systems, and the subwoofer's cool too. Not cheap. I'm assuming that's $3,500 a piece. I'll ask them that. But they're ported in the front on the floor standing, sealed on the bookshelf style. But then you have this interesting mounting system, could work out really well in like a wash bay or something like that. I love the finish, like the sort of rhino line finish. And then they have sort of infinite mounting points. Synergy sub. I'm guessing the sub is not powered, so you need a separate amplifier because these are not power towers. Also bi-wireable. Yeah, no amplifier in the subwoofer. So this is the company that Mike Sajecki was telling me I need to get into, working with figuring out FX Luminaire. I'd like to swap out all of my lights, figure out how to design a system at my place. I never had landscape lighting before, but I have it at my house and it actually looks really cool. So to do, these guys are like the Porsche of landscape lighting. So I think I may have found my solution for custom desk production. So we can head into, you know, the Destination OG side of making desks. And then my plan would be to have umbilical cords where we could sell the wiring where it would just fit and work. So I've met my company for that. I knew I'd find some stuff here. So Paradigm, which I think is rep by the same company, or maybe owned by Martin Logan, I never really came across, or never crossed paths with them. You know, I've owned lots of different speakers over the years, but Paradigm is one that I've never really experienced much. I always kind of put them in the category with like Revel, Boston Acoustics, stuff like that probably wouldn't really appeal to me as much because they're going to be aluminum dome, brighter speakers, whereas something like Martin Logan is really interesting and they're doing interesting things. I love this company. If you're looking for cabling at, you know, no BS, look at Blue Jeans cabling. In fact, you know, I took on Metra stuff, but my original plan was to approach these guys, but they don't really do wholesale. But this stuff is, I have a bunch of this stuff in my case filled with cabling. B&O stuff. I've sold some B&O stuff in the old days, but always interesting stuff, but it's more about the design than the function. But they have some crazy stuff. It's really appealing to a lot of people, as you can see. So the one thing that I was really interested in is this guy. So the new subwoofer, so the new in-wall version they're working on. Super cool looking. See, I still think one of the best bang for the buck subwoofers is the SB2000 Pro. So SB2000 and then, you know, SB3000. These are my two favorite subwoofers in the, you know, in the non-expensive realm. You know, ported takes up so much more space. You do gain a little bit of amplitude, I think, but generally speaking, I prefer to have a sealed little box. So, you know, I mean, a Velodyne is going to be not as equivalent to SVS. Velodyne is going to be a better subwoofer, I think, than SVS, but quite a bit more expensive. You know, it's in a different class. And I was looking for something that is, I didn't love the Velodyne entry-level stuff. I always liked the higher-end Velodynes, but I'm going to choose an SVS over those in most instances. So I don't know much about Hisense. Actually, my friend Youthman, Michael Stevens, is coming over, but some of their displays, I think, have become somewhat legit. So I need to spend a little more time doing a little more digging. But you know, normally, conventionally, you would think Hisense is junk, but I think they're coming. They're up and coming. We're gonna find out more about them here in a few minutes. I still need to get these in the Whisper Quiet stuff into my current house, so we'll need to swap it. My favorites is what we have in Helen: Evoke 50, Evoke 25C, Evoke 20s, which I have in the rear, and Evoke 10s, which I have in the front. I'm sorry, Atmos. I have Evoke 20s in my office system since I took the Heritage Specials out and put them in my. What did I do? I put the Heritage Specials in the garage, and then here they are in gloss black. There's the Sub 18S, which of course I have a bunch of those. Then Emits, which I don't have any Emits, but Amit is a great entry-level line. I don't love the little sub, the sub 9S, or the sub, what do they call it, sub 3. But the Amit line is a great gateway into Dynaudio. It doesn't have the cabinet, but it has the driver, so it has the tech, has the same sound, but the cabinets are just simpler to keep the cost down. And then I do love the in-wall stuff, man. I like it a lot. I have, let's see, S4 C80s in the ceiling in the garage. I have S4 C80s in the ceiling in my home theater. I'm gonna swap them all out in Helen, I think, but they'll probably have to be the P series because the Studio series takes up a lot of space. I have the 2 sub RCCs in the outdoor kitchen. Yeah, you can say I'm have a little bit of a love affair with this stuff. And so Adam LZ's house is going to look like this. So we're going to do this, and I may on LZ's, I may not go full dual pairs. Another thing I messed up on is Special 40s are still available. So if you want Special 40s, hit me up. And then this is what I have. These are Contour 60s. So the Contour line is the second. So this is the highest in line is Confidence, and then Contour. And so I have Contours in my home theater, but I want to have Confidence. This is the smaller Confidence. They make a really big one, the really large version. They didn't bring the Confidence 60, I believe, or yeah, I think it's a 60 series. I think this is a Confidence 20. So the 60s is what I would love to have at some point in my office theater. That's my long-term goal. But as you might imagine, this is my favorite booth here at SEMA.
Sure, man.
I found another YouTuber. I have another friend here.
What's up, guys?
Youth Man. What do we call it? Youth Man Reviews or just Youth Man?
Reviews, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good. Matt, I love you, man. We had a blast filming your home theater tour.
Yeah. I got like 3 new home theaters. We gotta get back together again.
Let's do it, dude. You're local to me, so man, that'd be no problem.
We got to do it. Make sure to go check out Youth Man's channel. He'll have a way better footage on CEDIA than I do. All right, so back home from CEDIA. I actually left 2 days early. I went next day. So what you saw was the first day of CEDIA, and I dug in really deep. Came back the next day, had some more discussions with some of the other vendors that I was interested in. I went and grabbed some lunch, and I realized I kind of went through this place 12 times. And so short of me trying to buy those MBL speakers, I needed to get out of there. So it cost me $100 to book a flight and go home. But I was looking for some inspiration, and I think I got it. I'll talk more about it inside the Hex, about what I'm thinking about. I went to there to see, the home theater, distributed audio. I'm not particularly interested in home automation stuff, but whether it's lighting control, shades, just audio throughout, and then of course home theater, the Trinoff stuff that I went and listened to really got my gears turning on some of the sophisticated processing that they're doing. So I'm still formulating what that inspiration is, but I feel like I've caught the bug, and I'm not 100% sure what that is yet, but I think that there's an obsessed home theater in my future. I think I still own the URL. I need to go look that up. But the obsessed home theater, the thing that really resonated or I clarified a bit in my brain to this point is that I'm not able to check my obsession at the garage door, if you will. Clearly, the garage is the anchor of my obsession. The cars go in it, the floor goes in it, the lights happen in it, the tools go in the garage. I love cabinets. I love audio in the garage as well. But when I walk into my house, I don't get to leave that obsession there. I go into the house and I'm obsessed with the faucet, with the refrigerator, with the drawer organization, with the home theater and TVs and AV, and I'm not interested in everything, but I'm not able to just shut it off. And so I was looking for some inspiration on what that would look like if I was able to represent other things that I'm passionate about. So anyway, if you're not Inside the Hex members, maybe you should go check that out. Go become a member, and I'll continue to share the thoughts there. My next video, outside of the normal vlog, will be talking about Canada some more. The last video I did was talking about my vision for wholesale and capturing that, and then I'll be hopefully figuring out and digging into what is other obsessive things like lighting and home theater. How does that look? We've also been formulating the Destination OG concept. So how does that all fit together? So I'm trying to figure out. So anyway, thanks for watching this little vlog of me going to CEDIA, and I'll be sure to share with you more stuff as I figure it out. We'll see you soon.